Hello again, fellow gamers, and Lolitas, I guess. So as you can see, I'm in a different place. The reason that I haven't posted a video in around 3 months is because I've been busy moving house, and also I've just been busy with commissions. But I'm back. I don't know how long for because making videos is hard. Today I wanted to talk about being plus size in Lolita fashion. This is a video I wanted to make for a long time, just because I am plus size. I know all the struggles of being plus size. Mostly plus size in Lolita fashion. I think I'm like mid-size in like UK fashion. I'm like a size 16. But yeah, certainly plus size when it comes to Asian sizes. So, as your resident chubby-chan, I am well versed in the complexity that is being plus size in Lolita fashion. When I first found this fashion in around 2014, I think, I was like a skinny high school girl. When you're thin, you don't really think about whether or not something will fit you. But as a plus size person, I constantly have to check the measurements for everything. I've thought about my size and Lolita a lot, and how much easier it would be if I was just thin and if I lost a bunch of weight and could then fit into the clothing that I like a lot. But I feel like it's not necessary to make your body fit into a fashion. I also don't think it's very common to do that, especially in the day and age where tailoring and making clothing fit you is so commonplace. I also don't think it's necessary to be smaller to participate in a fashion. You don't really see this kind of like behavior or want to be skinny or thin in other hobbies that include fashion, and I'm a cosplayer, so you kind of find it a lot in cosplay where things won't fit you, but there's always going to be a custom made option, so there's not really any need to lose weight when it comes to cosplay. So it's always been a bit of a confusing topic for me when it comes to being plus size in a fashion like Lolita. Being honest though, even in normie plus size fashion, there's a struggle from fashion designers to truly cater to plus size people in the sense of style. You'll kind of notice that a lot of plus size fashion is earth tones and black and white, neons sometimes, but most of the time it's kind of catered to us to blend in and to not stand out. But there's also like that section of plus size clothing that's like neons, leopard print, like shit just fucking everywhere. Like there's no good in between for normie plus size fashion, which is why a lot of plus size women that are into sort of the kawaii culture will gravitate towards Lolita because it's something completely different that they've not seen before, and something that can cater to a larger body. Me personally, I find Lolita can be quite flattering, especially if the dress fits you well, because it gives you that shape of having a smaller waist to hip size, and I find Lolita, when it fits correctly, can be really flattering. But there's also the sense of it being like a cute, feminine, like just really pushing the boundaries of being a feminine fashion that I find is appealing to people like us, because again, normie fashion wants us to not be seen, to blend into the background and not be a standout figure, but Lolita is the complete opposite of that. It's beautiful and it can be really eye-catching, and there's all the prints and the pretty lace. I've also found that Lolita has a very diverse community of all genders, ages, sizes, backgrounds, skin color. It's a really beautifully diverse group of people, but unfortunately some people feel like they have the authority to speak on what plus size people can and cannot do with their clothing, as well as the body size of its members, and I find that Lolita fashion is probably the worst offender of this. But aside from that, I wanted to talk about the struggles of being plus size in Lolita clothing and hopefully garner some people some insight as to the things you might not think about if you're a skinnier person and you don't have to worry about fitting into Lolita. So I asked a couple people on my Instagram to give me some struggles that they have encountered wearing Lolita, and then there's a couple points in here that are mine, but I just wanted to make an all-encompassing video of just stupid relatable things to talk about. So the first one, main pieces never fit unless you come across a really good plus size brand that, you know, makes clothing for us, or one that does custom clothing. They don't fit. This is the most common plus size Lolita struggle, and it's what makes the fashion so inaccessible for us. Most of the time the main pieces won't go over a 103 centimeter bust, which sounds like a lot, but it's kind of not. And thanks to a lot of pieces maxing out at that size, the very rare full shirring like AP pieces that I've noticed on the market end up being very sought after and very expensive because they cater to a wider audience and they're just more comfortable because of the amount of room that they have. So they're just gone in like seconds, but also like 300 pounds. Another common theme with main pieces not fitting is that if you do end up having the bust fit, because it's made to encompass a smaller, more petite bust size, the torso of the bodice ends up being a lot shorter on someone like me who's bustier than it would on someone that maybe doesn't have as much titty. So you end up either needing to lengthen the straps or just lengthening the bodice in general, and it's kind of a difficult task to undertake, as well as OP cuffs being tighter than they should be, even if you make the rest of the dress bigger. Although I don't own any OPs, so I can't really attest for that. Number 2 would be blouses, and just blouses in general. You can get a blouse that will fit, but the buttons will pop open because you got some tits. Honestly, just blouses that fit, I'm kind of just writing off as a myth at this point, because I have yet to come across a blouse that will fit that isn't that chiffon one of AliExpress. I actually hand make all of my blouses because it's the only way that I can get a blouse that'll fit my chest in. Encompassing the blouse struggles, we also have ones that do fit, and then the sleeves end up being too short because they're made for tiny Asian ladies and not Western sized bodies. So you end up having a beautiful long sleeve blouse and then the sleeves come to here. And then matching with the long sleeve problems, you have people that can't fit into blouses because they're too broad in the shoulder. So honestly, blouses are probably one of the more difficult items to find for plus size bodies. Number 3 would be socks, and socks are actually something I never thought about not fitting, because it's not really something that you do think about not fitting, especially if you're a Western person. All kinds of socks fit, but surprisingly, unless they're made from cotton, they're just not gonna fit. I have a pair of AP Sweetie Ribbon OTKs, and they're sort of like a polyester mix, and they don't even go past my like calves. And I don't think I have that big calves, but they just won't go past. I have noticed that if they are made of cotton, they do fit. I'm wearing a pair of AP ones right now and they fit fine. But if they have a very complicated print on them, the print will start to pull. And I have an example. So these are my beautiful jewelry jelly tights, socks. But as you can see, they have just started to tear. And there too. Which is a shame, because they're really cute socks and they match jewelry jelly. Yeah, I want to know if anyone else has any socks like this. Yeah, it sucks, because I think I've only worn these like once or twice, and like with quarantine I haven't even worn them out. So kind of disappointing. Number 4 is outerwear. And when I mean outerwear, I mean like coats and cardigans and stuff, and they just don't exist. They don't exist for people with a large bust. I don't think I've seen one Lolita, like specifically Lolita coat, go over a 100 centimeter bust. So it's really difficult for us to find really cute coats as a plus size person, and especially cardigans. I've resorted to buying like normie cardigans off AliExpress and then embellishing them to make them feel a bit more cutesy. I actually got lucky this December by seeing someone on my Instagram post their coat from Skinny Dip, and it's like the super cute like AP short coats. So yeah, I felt really lucky finding that, because there's no coats for plus size people that are cute. They don't exist. And speaking of winter, like number 5, boots. If you have thick calves, no chance. I have a pair of really cute winter boots from like an off-brand seller. They're probably like Antina or something. I got them secondhand. But they lace up and they go on fine, and then they have a topper, and no. I had to make extenders for the topper because it just doesn't fit around my calf, and like I said, I don't think I have that chunky calf, but I guess I do. I don't think that there is a shop out there that sells winter boots for Lolita for plus size people, as far as I'm aware. Number 6, and this is the last point, well, last struggle that I want to address, and that is petticoats. Unless I think you get like a custom one from somewhere like Me Likes Tea, they're always going to be a little tight in the waist, and you don't want to fully stretch out your petticoat because you're gonna end up with no poof. It'll just be like a regular skirt. Petticoat that I wear is 2 stacked, and I normally wear like a regular like cosplay petticoat, and then I stack an Aurora and Oriel petticoat on top, and kind of just deal with that. But yeah, honestly, I'd fully recommend getting a custom sized one because they will be worth the money. Honestly, a lot of these like struggles you don't really think about until it comes to them. Like the socks thing really got me fucked up when I first discovered that they wouldn't go over my knee, because even wearing normie clothes, things will go past, like socks will go past my knees, but they might roll down on my thighs. It's just like that's just a regular Western problem. But yeah, it's not something you really think about when it comes to Lolita. I also kind of want to address the stigma that is around altering brand, because I have done it to every dress that I own. I wouldn't be able to fit into Chess Chocolate unless I altered it, but there is a stigma surrounding it for whatever reason, and it's mostly coming from people that aren't plus size. When I say brand, I mostly mean like the big 3, which is like Angelic Pretty, Baby the Star Shine Bright, and probably Moi Mem Moiti, but I've found that not many people alter Moi Mem Moiti because it's harder to get a hold of secondhand. But also looking at like Innocent World and the really big popular Japanese brands. It's mostly a small vocal few that seem to have a problem with altering brand, and the excuse that they tend to come up with is that it's lowering the market value, it's ruining the dresses, and to be fair, it can be ruining the dress if you do it incorrectly, but if you do it correctly, there's literally no problem behind it, because making something bigger can be reversed. Making it smaller is more difficult, and I'm speaking as a tailor myself. I'm trained in alterations, that's why I alter all my own dresses. Making something smaller means having to put more into the seams, and most of the time you have to cut away that excess material, otherwise it's going to be too bulky. But if you're making something bigger, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about cutting away extra fabric, and if you do choose to sell it on and the person is like, oh, can you make this smaller? You can just reverse everything that you've done. But yeah, some Lolitas tend to think that altering brand is literally the worst sin ever that you could ever commit. But it's not. It's really not. They also think that when you've altered brand, you should sell it for less than market value. But in my opinion, why? Like, it's still the same dress. You've opened the market up for someone else who is the same size as you to be able to purchase a dress that they originally couldn't fit into, which in my opinion, you can sell it for the same price because someone will buy it. People act like plus size people don't look for dresses that have been altered. If I saw a brand piece that had been pre-altered and it was a good job, I would buy it because I would know that it fit. I wouldn't have to go out of my way to alter it. As far as I'm concerned, a good alteration on a piece is more valuable to me than a regular size, and I'm sure a lot of other plus size people feel the same way. The same argument could be made that you are ruining the dress by replacing buttons, shearing elastic, even making something smaller to fit you as a smaller body. That's all regular alterations to make. Every celebrity you've ever seen on the red carpet, in paparazzi photos, everything, they have all had their clothing altered to fit, whether it be going smaller or bigger, or even having custom made clothing. And I just don't see why Lolita would be any different than altering regular clothing, especially designer clothing. I personally would not buy a Gucci shirt unless it's gonna fit nicely. I would really like to help normalize the idea of making Lolita fit you rather than making your body fit Lolita, because I personally see that as a really unhealthy mindset. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a goal and being like, oh, I want to lose a few pounds and fit into this dress. I think that's perfectly fine, but there shouldn't be the stigma of you're too fat for Lolita. I just think that's really ridiculous. Nobody is too fat for a fashion. It's literally just clothing. And the people that have this stigma around altering brand, I think you need to get a grip because at the end of the day, it's clothing and it's my clothing and I'll do what I want with it. So yeah, hopefully this is a short video compared to my last 30-minute video, which was an accident, sorry. But if you guys have any other struggles or tips as a plus size Lolita, be sure to leave a comment and give this video a like if you want, and subscribe. You know, you know the drill. But yeah, feel free to check out some of my other videos, and please leave me a comment if there's a video that you want me to make because I'm running out of ideas. I'll see you next time.